Hello, this is Made for Disney, the happiest podcast to ever sail the Seven Seas Lagoon. I'm Erin.
I'm Lily.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Michelle.
Hello, this is Erin, and I'll be your captain today on voyage number 3 of Made for Disney, the happiest podcast to ever sail the Seven Seas Lagoon. Today we're going to be running a bit of a skeleton crew. I only have our navigator, Sean, joining me today.
Hello.
But we're going to make it work. It's all going to turn out good here. It is the happiest podcast sailing the sea. So, before we begin, I want to go ahead and tell you how you can contact us and stuff. So, we have a Gmail at madefordisney@gmail. We have a Twitter and Facebook page, Made for Disney, and an Instagram, Made for Disney, the podcast. They're all spelled like the podcast with the number 4. Make sure it's the number 4 and not FOR or anything like that. So then you can also, of course, there's our website.
madefordisney.podiant.co.
Yes, thank you. Okay, and then before we get into the main bit, I also am excited to say that Lily and I are going to be going to the world in about 2 weeks, maybe just under 3 weeks. We're going to be there in October, mid-October. So we'll make sure we're going to be recording some stuff beforehand, so that way you're still going to get your weekly content with us. But you should also make sure to check out our social media pages and stuff like that, because we're sure to be posting different photos and stuff. This will be Lily's and I's first time at Pandora. We're going to be trying out 2 new restaurants and then some old ones that we love. And as I'm sure you've picked up if you've listened to this podcast previously, we like food a bit. So we'll be posting stuff there. This trip will be with our grandparents and our uncle, so you're going to be listening to us talk once we get back from the trip. We'll make sure to do reviews on Pandora and the restaurants and stuff like that. But that's enough rambling on my part, so let's move on. Today on our itinerary, we're going to be trying out something new here. Instead of just talking about our favorite things in the park or hotels and stuff like that, we're going to be talking about a history of an attraction, or really more specifically, history of the rides that have been in this one building. Specifically, it's you'll know it if you're coming from the castle to the right into Tomorrowland. It's the first ride attraction building to the left across from Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Right now it's housing Stitch's Great Escape. But today we're going to be talking about all of the different shows, attractions, rides, whatever you want to call it, that have been housed in that building. Since I've only been in it since it was Stitch, because it opened in 2004 or something, so I was very young. But Dad over here has been in it since every variation for sure since Mission to Mars, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why don't you start us off with the information?
All right. So we'll get a little back history. The original Flight to the Moon, or
Rocket to
the Moon, originally opened in originally opened in 1955 with Disneyland.
Yeah.
That was the original ride. Our ride at Magic Kingdom opened the same year as the park did in 71, but not till Christmas.
Okay.
It was a Christmas present. It was originally a D ticket ride.
Yeah.
And the original sponsor was McDonnell Douglas. They had a lot to do with space flight and airplanes and aviation.
All right.
But the problem was the original ride focused on something that, at the time it opened here in 71, had actually happened in 1969, which was the flight to the moon. And we actually made landing on the moon in 1969. So you could almost say this ride had a use-by date, and it was already used up by them. So that's the basic history of the ride.
Okay.
So we'll go to a brief introduction. Oh, actually, we'll go through the whole thing.
We don't have any idea why the name was changed from Rocket to the Moon to Flight to the Moon, do we?
I could not find anything. And speaking of that, most of the information I got, other than personal knowledge, was from Wikipedia, extinctdisney.com, which is a great site. I go all the time looking at older rides that have gone or changed. They have them listed on there. And, of course, Lou Mangello. He's got the background information about every ride. Mm-hmm. All right.
And there's really not a lot on Flight to the Moon, and like almost nothing on Mission to Mars.
Say that again.
There's not really any information there's not a lot of information that you can find on Flight to the Moon, and like even less on Mission to Mars.
Yeah, you can find information on Mission to Mars. Flight to the Moon is much harder, especially about the Disney World version versus Disneyland, because a lot of even Wikipedia, if you look at their Mission to Mars, it's actually a combination of Flight to the Moon and Mission to Mars. So it's not real.
Wasn't Flight to the Moon pretty much just the exact same though, as it is in Disneyland? Well, was.
Yeah, our ride up is pretty much different. Slightly different layout, but it's pretty much the same ride overall.
Okay. All right, what do we got?
All right, so
give us the facts.
All right, so let's go over the ride a bit. You had a brief introduction in a holding area before you got into the ride.
Mm-hmm. And they still have the same like queue layout as.
Somewhat, I'm sure that's changed as well too, because the crowds have gotten bigger.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
I'm sure that's changed some. But you'd in a pre-show area, and that'd be Mission Control. Mm-hmm. So once you got into Mission Control, you got to look at the upcoming flight, and big thing was you got to meet the Director of Operations, which was Mr. Morrow, Mr. Tom Morrow.
Saturn is here.
Yeah. And of course, he's an audio animatronic. And they also had 10 other audio animatronics sitting in chairs in front of you, but they were technicians, so they just had their back to you. So all you really saw them move their head, move their arms, but you never really saw their face.
I like to think they all had the same face, or no face.
Probably no face. So then Mr. Morrow explained the purpose of Mission Control and introduced you to the ride vehicle, your upcoming flight to the moon. He also showed you some film clips to explain how humans made numerous advances in space travel and manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And also learn how to deal with the effects of space. But of course, this lecture was always interrupted by an alarm sequence.
There's always an alarm.
Yeah, something always goes wrong. But this actually, they talk about a crash landing. But it turned out to be actually an albatross coming in for a landing. If you ever seen
like
albatross land, they land pretty rough. They don't have pretty landings.
Is that a kind of plane, or are you talking about the bird? Okay,
yeah,
I was confused.
Bird, yes. And they show it crash landing near the spaceship launch pad.
All right.
So from there, guests exited Mission Control, and they head over to the launch pad and their flight vehicle. Mm-hmm. This section of attraction hasn't changed much over the years. It's pretty much maintained the same basic layout.
Like circular theater?
Yes. Yes, if you've ever ridden the ride, you understand how the predecessors of the rides were laid out, because they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You had a circular room with rows of seats in the stadium position where the front seats were lower. You raised up in the back, so everybody had a good view of the floor in front of you, which had a circular screen on the floor. Mm-hmm. You had a circular screen on the ceiling, and there were screens all around the room.
Yeah.
So you had all your monitors you could look at. Then once everybody was seated, the flight captain would welcome everybody aboard. A countdown began, and then it was time to launch.
Ooh.
As the craft launched into space, the entire room, including the seats, would begin to shake with audible force. And from what I've heard somebody work there, they had, I don't know how true this is, because how to hear stuff from cast members is usually not true, but they actually had speakers underneath the seats.
Yeah.
Bass speakers, basically.
Oh.
That would rumble the seat. That's how they did the early rumbling.
And then they put on some Beastie Boys.
Yeah, they cranked some Beastie Boys.
That'd be a lot more fun of a ride than what they got currently. Still the music.
A few minutes later, as the craft exits Earth's atmosphere, the seats would change so you feel like it's anti-gravity. Or you're losing gravity. You would raise up slightly. Yeah, so you had that sense of weightlessness, like you're lifting off the floor. Mm-hmm. And from this point on, the show really took over. So in addition to meeting one of the astronauts, work on the moon's surface, and learn how it was possible, guests were treated to a flight over the moon's surface, and they saw from the bottom window, looking at the ground in front of you, where the circular screen was. And while they were there, they were directed to look at the sun, which they wouldn't do that nowadays.
Yeah.
And they were the importance of mass of burning gases were discussed.
So it was more like a learning thing?
Yeah, a lot of learning. But then, of course, as everything always goes wrong,
there's an alarm.
The craft was struck by a meteor shower.
Oh, they love meteors when they can't do an alarm.
Yeah. The craft begins to shake as sirens blasted. Luckily, nobody's harmed, and they're able to keep all the guests safe until they return to Earth. But just after 4 years of this operation...
And then you go into the Star Wars gift shop. Oh, wait, no, that's the old Star Tours.
But after 4 years of operation, the ride was closed. That was in 1975, the spring.
I always wonder when, like, reading about rides like that, I wonder how it would hold up. Like the mechanics of it, like how it would feel if you went and you rode it then. Like, I'm sure that was impressive back in, when did it open?
71.
71?
Well, that ride opened 71 with the
Like,
park.
I'm sure it was impressive then, but now I wonder how it would hold up, like, taking out, like, the dated video or whatever, if it was, like, updated videos and stuff, but just, like, the ride mechanics of it, of feeling, like, the weightlessness and whatever.
Well, if you kept updating the ride, which is basically all they've really done.
Mm-hmm.
So they add the 4D stuff now, so you have the water effect for the spit. It was blood in one of them.
Oh, yeah.
You had the heat blow. You had the seats redone so they actually could blow air on the back of your neck, so you felt the alien at one point lean over your shoulder. So the whole ride's really the same ride.
Yeah, but I wonder with just the base mechanics of, like, Flight to the Moon, I wonder how it would feel.
It probably wouldn't have lasted very long because it was really dated.
Yeah.
It was, and it was really simple.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as everything, we want better, cooler, faster.
Yeah.
Realer.
When did it close?
75.
75.
Spring of 75.
So it was only up in a couple years.
4 years.
4 years?
Mm-hmm.
That's not terrible.
No.
It's about how long Stitch should have ran.
Yeah, pretty much. And so it was closed for a while. Then real quickly in June of 1975, they reopened. So it was only closed for a few months. And it reopened as Mission to Mars. Mission to Mars.
Was it before or after? And it was in between the rides here. It's either before or after Mission to Mars. But they had like signs up saying like Tom Morrow. He was like hosting a thing like Mission to Mars, True for Hoax or something like that for a while.
That all came afterwards.
Was it afterwards?
Yes,
I couldn't remember if it was
afterwards.
before.
To my knowledge, it was all afterwards.
Okay.
So that was actually Tom Morrow's last flight, because when we went to Mission to Mars, they switched out some of the cast. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the ones that got cut.
No wonder he's always being paid. She's not there anymore.
He's not there, so that's why he gets all the page. But as you said, you can find other places in Tomorrowland. Not find him, but you can find his name or mention of him, like you mentioned the signs you saw.
They love puns.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, this Mission to Mars had pretty much the same ride.
Except they colored it red.
Yeah, basically.
They just put on a filter.
And I think that's one reason a lot of people get them mixed up. Because that's one reason I'm not totally sure if I read Mission to the Flight to the Moon before, because it was so similar to Mission to Mars. There really wasn't a lot changed as far as the show itself. Mm-hmm. Most of the change came in the introduction area and that type of stuff, where Mr. Johnson replaced Mr. Morrow.
Don't you hear him on the transit authority? He's like there's something with him in the audio.
I'm not real sure.
I think there is. I couldn't tell you what it's about, but I'm pretty sure it's there. Because I never got that one. I always just thought Tom Morrow was a pun, so I stuck with that one. But then I'd hear that one and be like, oh, it's not Tom Morrow.
All right. But the ride itself is still set up the exact same way. The floor monitors, wall monitors, ceiling monitors.
Put on the red lights.
Yep. The seats changed to simulate gravity, because you're going through the same effects. Mm-hmm. The difference here is once you flew over the Martian surface, instead of looking at the moon, you look at the Martian surface through the bottom window.
Did you see Martians?
No, not to say Martians, but you saw the surface.
Yeah.
And of course, alarms start going off, blasted.
Alarms? Who would have thunk it?
But everybody was okay. They got home safe. Same as before.
Goes into the Star Wars gift shop.
No, it's not Star Wars gift shop yet.
I'm still thinking of the old Star Tours.
Yeah. So, but then Mission to Mars lasted till October of 93. It ran for an unheard of 18 plus years.
Wow.
And then replaced with Alien Encounter.
Could you please try to say the word that we can never actually say with the emphasis on terror?
Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah, I thought if you say the word encounter after extraterrestrial, I feel like that if I got all that out of my mouth, encounter don't count anymore.
Because you gotta like say all of the terror, like emphasis on terror and the terrestrial. Extraterrestrial. We can't say that word at all. Okay, so what's up with this one? When did it open?
Well, they had a brief preview in 94. But it didn't actually open until 95.
Okay.
Because Michael Eisner took a tour of it
Eisner.
Yep. He didn't like it. This part was, he thought it needed to be darker, scarier, more exciting.
For the teens.
Yeah, and that's pretty much, I think, a lot of people feel probably pretty much ruined the ride because they made it too scary. So that the teens might have liked it, some of the older people might have liked it, but the children definitely didn't like it. It was a creepy ride.
Yeah. Didn't Michael Eisner, he wanted, like, the teens to relate. He made Videopolis, which was a thing, and which was a teen nightclub in Disneyland. And then it's also in Disneyland Paris.
Really?
I don't think it's the same thing anymore, but I know it's in, like, their weird steampunk thing.
Mm-hmm. The Julius Verne area.
Because
they're Tomorrowland, basically.
Yeah, because he worked on Disneyland Paris. We know how Disneyland Paris was doing in the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning was pretty rough.
It's doing better now, though.
But for this ride, the animatronics, of course, have gotten better.
Of course.
And they're much more up to date.
It's been like 20 years since the opening of the first one.
Yep.
Over that, actually.
And this time, the guests entered by way of two individual pre-shows. The first show took place in the waiting room.
So they corral you twice after you get in line.
Yes. And you had overhead monitors, and you were introduced to XS Tech. It was a commercial that played that explained the company. And if something can't be done with XS, then it shouldn't be done at all, was their tagline.
It's another pun.
Yes.
Disney loves them. Just wait till the alarms.
Then the second show was hosted by Sir. Simulated Intelligence Robot. An XS robot voiced by Tim Curry. And he demonstrated the XS Technologies teleportation. XS Tech's teleportation technology with the help of an alien named Skippy.
You know what I realized? What I always just kind of assumed I've heard of the name of this ride before, but I haven't ever really looked into it until fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
I always just kind of assumed that it was Alien, like the movie with Sigourney Weaver.
Supposedly that was what they originally wanted to do, was create a alien ride.
But they didn't want to pay them licensing fees.
I'm not sure what the deal was with that, but
because I guess
so they said, hey, if we can't use Alien, we'll just make our own Alien.
Yeah, we'll emphasize terror in it and just make the alien smaller. Off to the corner, because Universal was doing a lot of stuff like that, like unlicensed stuff with them. So it's kind of their answer to their scarier stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Go on.
And you're introduced to Skippy. And he demonstrated how Skippy could be teleported from one teleportation tube to another. But of course, there's a problem. And Skippy came
There's a problem?
Yes. And when he came out of the second tube, or came into the second tube, he appeared very disoriented and burnt.
Burnt?
Yes.
Did he smell like chicken?
Do not know on that one. No reports.
Is it the same little creature that's in Stitch currently? Like a little yellow thing. It has like a long nose, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, now it just sneezes. Because it's Stitch and weird. Okay, what's next?
All right. So then after that, you enter the main circular room.
Same design as before.
Basically, except this time you don't have this. You just have small display screens in the center of the room. Or instead of the small display screens, those are gone. And so in the center of the room, you saw a large, empty teleportation tube.
Ooh.
Like the one you saw Sir demonstrate in the previous room. So everybody finds their seats. Okay, the guests are then introduced to a couple of XS employees to explain how lucky the one guest is going to be because they're going to transport him to a distant point in the galaxy. But in a rush of inspiration, however, the plans change. And instead, they decide to take the CEO of XS Tech.
Owner. Dude, who knows?
You saw him in the video earlier. And they're going to transport him to Earth.
Ooh.
But in order to do this, however, the signal of the teleportation device must be rerouted to a potentially dangerous and unknown point of the universe.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. But of course, they decide to do it anyway. So as the teleportation process completes, it's suddenly very obvious that something has gone wrong.
Something went wrong?
Yes, very early on. Instead of the employee, a huge winged creature can be seen in the teleportation tube.
Oh no, we're in Fantasia.
Yes, and of course the containment system is failing. And they had the flashing lights, smoke.
Was there an alarm? Please tell me there was an alarm.
I'm not real sure about the alarm part. Yeah, I think there was some alarms.
There wasn't an alarm. What's the point of the ride?
But of course, it all goes dark. You can't really see what's going on. You hear a crash where it breaks the container tube.
Oh, no.
Then the power fails. That's when it went really dark.
The power failed?
Yep. And you hear a maintenance worker walking in the catwalks above you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'd be employed with a flashlight, so you'd see where he's at and everything. He tells you he's going to try to get the power back on and stuff like that. And then you feel a hot breath on your neck.
Ugh.
And you hear a growl. Either from the updated seats. They have the hot air pipe through the back of your seats.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the growl through the seats.
No, thank you.
And you also, the strap bars that come down over you, like when you're in a roller coaster that come down over your shoulders.
Did they have those strap bars on the original 2 rides?
I do not think so.
Okay, I think I heard something about how they were added then. I hate those. Yes. They always hurt me when I got in that chair.
Well, the thing is, they do this. They also go down a little bit on you. They also push down your shoulders. That's supposed to be him either standing on you.
That always hurt my shoulders.
Bars above you, or grabbing your shoulders, pulling them down.
I didn't like it.
But soon the excess technician was able to fix the tubes and lure the creature back inside, where it's supposedly contained and presumably destroyed. We don't know. But after 8 years of operation, this too must close. It was shut down in 2003.
Yeah.
The official reasons behind the shutdown were operating costs and maintenance problems. But the general assumption is that the attraction was simply too scary for the Magic Kingdom, because typically younger guests result in too many complaints.
Didn't it actually have the thing kill maintenance workers or whatever?
I think one time it did kill the maintenance worker, and you feel a spurt of water in your face.
Oh God!
So you consume whatever you want to consume. It is.
It's just bone marrow. Calm down.
I know I've ridden it a couple times at least, but I don't really remember. If it was early on, I'm like, okay, we've done that. We're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, because I was a little baby because I was born in 2000, right. So it was I could not have gone on that.
Yeah, so we didn't play with that too much. The next opening was Stitch's Great Escape.
Escape? It almost sounds like something would go wrong.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff was reused again. They did add some new...
Because now they had a child-friendly thing that they owned.
They had newer voices, newer technology, and some cuter costuming.
Still used the same little yellow alien, I'm pretty sure.
I think
except
so.
Now it sneezes.
Everything was much some of the same, except now you have Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
He breaks out, he runs amok.
Is there alarms?
Oh, and Stitch? Yes.
Yeah. So many alarms. I haven't ridden it in years.
When I was Stitch, we're still in the excess. And after the ride did close, you still saw excess tech references among other rides. You know, Disney. They like to give callbacks to the rides that have come and gone. You used to have a ride over at Disney Quest. There was something with excess technology. I can't remember what it was called now.
I don't think I've actually ever been to Disney Tech.
No. What was
Disney Quest, not Disney Tech.
The short-lived Stitch's Supersonic celebration, I think, lasted for 3 weeks.
I kind of remember hearing about it.
They referenced XS Tech in that as well.
That's just what you want in your celebration.
Yeah. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter.
Oh, you said it kind of right this time.
Yeah, I did. And so we're going to hand it over to Erin now and let her take over Stitch.
Yeah, it's time for Stitch's Great Escape. Oh no, I think something's already gone wrong. Okay, so, they wanted, pretty much why Stitch is there now is because they realized they had a friendlier alien for you to encounter, and, Stitch did great when it came out in, 2002? Yeah, 2002 it came out. So, the new attraction opened November 16th, 2004. I kind of remember when it came out. So it's the fourth one, occupying there. It's the same setup, really, with the whole 2 sections of corralling. Mm-hmm. And really, it's the same lead up with the queue. You still have a dude talking about teleportation and aliens and danger levels and whatnot. And you get talked to by the great councilwoman, which, if you've seen the movie, which looks kind of a lot like the aliens. Now that I'm thinking about it, they look kind of a lot like the aliens from Extraterrestrial. Terrestrial. Do you remember what they look like?
No, I have no
they were
idea.
Green.
I've
seen a photo of them recently.
You talking about the big alien in the cage?
The people that worked at the XS.
Oh. No, I don't remember. Exactly.
They're kind of green. They look similar.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're at a containment unit. This security guard, I think, is telling you they have the same yellow animatronic alien teleporting from one tube to another, except this time he, like, sneezes, and there's, like, snot, because it's Stitch. And then after you see that, little pre-show with, I think he's still called Skippy, the dude that's talking.
Maybe yes.
I think so. So, alright, so you go, and Captain Gantu, if you've seen the movie, you know who that dude is. He kind of looks like a shark. Yep. Mixed with a manta ray.
Big guy.
It's big. He gives an alert, because, oh no, there's an alert. Of course, there's an alert of some sort. Of a level 3 prisoner being beamed to the center. So, then you have Pleakley, which, the other green alien from the movie, he's like, go into this thing now, whatever, you're being herded into the same circular room as before. It's pretty much the exact same setup as terrestrial alien encounter. It's the same. There's a big tube in the middle. There's the screens. Same setup. I don't think they added really any new stuff with the chairs.
I don't think so. They maintained all the same technology.
Because it opened pretty soon. It wasn't that long of a gap.
I'm sure that they modified the sounds and stuff like that, but it was pretty soon.
So you sat down. The things came down on you. Onto the guest's shoulders, which I always hated that part. It always came down too much on me. It hurt my shoulders.
It used to come down, then adjust itself up a little bit.
Yeah.
You were just always scared.
Yeah, so they're talking about it. There's a whole, like, pre-show thing where they're talking. Then, Stitch is beamed in. It's the whole thing. There's smoke, whatnot. And then, would you believe it? There's a problem. Yeah, okay, so he gets out. Then he runs around. There's like alarms.
This show is based on the fact that it's a prisoner transport.
Yeah, it's the prisoner transport.
Yeah, okay.
So this is like before Lilo. This is him just at the prison. He's beamed in, level 3 threat or prisoner or whatever I said earlier. He's beamed in. He's in there. He like does some stuff in the tube, and then like the lights go out, and you hear like the tube breaking, and you hear him running around and stuff. Oh, he's jumping on your shoulders. Now they're hurting even more. I hated those restraints so much. Then there's like, he's like burping or like spitting at you, boogers. It's not great. Just running around. And then they play a thing, because he escapes to, as they pronounce, Florida. Yep. Florida. It's real weird how they pronounce it. And then, like, it on, like, the screens, the power's back on, and then, there's, like, 2 versions that you would see. Either he'd be, like, climbing the castle and, like, knock on and be like, hey, Cinderella, your prince is here, or whatever. He would get in, then he'd get kicked out. And then the other one was him on the Astro Orbiter.
Oh, yeah.
Which is possibly the only ride in Tomorrowland that is less fun than Stitch. Because at least Stitch, you're inside most of it. You get to be in the air conditioning. And then after that, you're released from the straps stuff, and you're able to exit with your hurt shoulders. Dude, I really hated those. I cannot stress how much I hated that ride. It's still there. I always forget it's still there. It's seasonal now.
It's seasonal. It's probably on its way out here real soon.
Fingers crossed. A new Star Wars ride.
No, Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah, the candy thing. Maybe they won't hurt our shoulders now.
Maybe. I don't know what that ride's supposed to be like. I have not dug into it at all.
Yeah, they haven't really released any information on it. And was that announced at D3?
No, it's still considered a rumor.
Still considered a rumor.
Definitely.
Like everything else before it gets confirmed. Alright, so after that, you get to leave, and there's like there's a days without accident thing at like some ridiculous number trickling down real quick. And then you get to go into either Merchant of Venus or Mickey Star Trader, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I know Mickey Star Trader, you can look at the ceiling, or Merchants of Venus.
Mm-hmm.
And you see footprints on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's placed on the wall. You can see where it came through the wall or something to that effect.
I think so. It's been forever since I've been in Merchants of
Venus. That's
Venus.
part of the whole escape thing to get to the castle or the rocket ride you're talking about.
Yeah, we usually don't really look through the gift shops in Tomorrowland because it's just not that much like specific stuff there. The only time we go in them is when we're on the Transit Authority.
Yeah, when you ride through.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be able to see from there too.
I think so. I can kind of picture what you're saying. I know the footprints.
Okay.
Yeah, but now that's on seasonal and is probably one of the most hated rides by any like Disney enthusiast. But it's kid friendly and stuff, so I guess the company liked it more than extraterrestrial.
Well, it wasn't as scary as extraterrestrial, but now most of the kids don't know who Stitch is.
Are there kids that don't know who Stitch is? I feel like Stitch is still enough of a...
To a certain extent, if you have parents who love Disney a lot and they give you the movies and all, but it's not shown on Disney Channel. As far as cartoon, the half-hour cartoons and stuff like that.
That's... I don't think you can even find it on Netflix, but I think that... But I think
the
more of the movie.
Still, the movie still shows there so often, but not in great numbers.
Yeah.
So you don't have the fan base that, Wreck-It Ralph has right now.
Yeah, and they're about to come out with a new movie.
Yeah, I think
soonish.
Yeah, probably after the new movie comes out before they make any type of decision.
Yeah, I want to make sure that one
actually makes money.
The first one did really good, I believe.
Yes.
It was a really good movie. I did like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now we're just kind of waiting for this one to kick it so we can get a new something and hopefully not have hurt shoulders with it. Maybe a little less alarms.
Well, they are building the Tron ride.
The Tron coaster, yeah.
And that's going to be more towards, still Tomorrowland, but it's by the raceway.
Raceway, yeah.
So that should inject some new energy into that set area of the park. They really hadn't put anything new in there since the the last new thing had been Comedy Laugh 4.
Yeah, Monsters Inc., I think. And that was forever ago.
And it's not as dated now because of the type of technology they use, where they use the same technology there they do at Turtle Time with Crush, where it's a live person creating the character on the screen, so everything they say is live, so they can change it up all the time.
Yeah. But I do like it, though.
The overall thing's getting dated. But they did introduce a new movie a couple years back, so...
Have you seen the concept art for the Tron coaster?
Mm-hmm.
It's wild looking.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. It's very different than the rest of but I'm excited for that. I hope that's the way that Tomorrowland's going to be going.
Yeah, there's talk, they're getting just rumors, that hopefully the cars at the Speedway will get replaced with new cars.
Tron coasters.
No, but hopefully with electric cars.
Oh, you can go ride a Tesla.
Basically. Because talking about the way the building's built, if you look at the way the artwork looks now, which always changes how it somewhat overlaps the track at points or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. But it's a very round, curvy building.
Yeah,
like a wave looking.
It's kind of like a figure eight.
And so I hope I hold a lot of that noise in. Those cars get really noisy.
I hate how loud they
are. It's so hot
are.
in the summertime, that area is.
Oh God, yeah.
So.
Get you on your Tesla.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. I think we need to have electric cars.
Yeah. Be nice. I know Disney doesn't like that noise that you hear, because I do not like the noise.
Yeah, I mean, you lose the noise and the gasoline expense, which batteries aren't really cheaper.
Yeah, it looks nicer.
You go through a lot of them, but
still having something that isn't with gas and all looks better as a company.
Oh yeah, it's much greener.
Win-win-win.
Yep.
There's no real downside to it, and besides they're old looking, and I don't think anybody's that attached to the look of them, so I doubt they would really get any backlash on that, except for 5 people.
Well, our Speedway has never really been updated as far as the cars. I mean, yeah, they've been replaced and stuff like that. Nothing really changed. Mm-hmm. But I know the Speedway at Disneyland
in California.
Yeah, they've got new cars, but mainly new bodies for the cars. May or may not include new cars. I don't know.
Is it called Autotopia there?
Autotopia.
Yeah.
And so they have got new cars.
All right.
So it's look nicer and newer.
Yeah. Tomorrowland definitely needs some love.
It does.
I love it, but it needs some more stuff happening there. Maybe a new restaurant.
All right. Well, you did a very good job with that, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you for doing most of the work here.
That was all 4 incarnations of the ride rolled up into one.
Hope a little bit about what we hope will be coming soon as the 5th one.
Yep.
Because, dear Lord, we need something different than Stitch.
It just really comes to the question now, if they do put something new there, will they have to tear the building down? Or will they be able to utilize the footprint as it is?
Yeah, maybe I think they might. If I was them, I would just gut it.
Do something the building would be nice, but I don't know if it's large enough, but they have no idea what their plans are.
Yeah, it depends on if they're trying to do like a track ride or if they just want to do kind of like more of a show, like what it currently is set up for. I don't think they'll keep with the theater and the round kind of setup.
No, hopefully that's gone. They've really pushed that technology to as far as they can.
Maybe they'll do a Star Tours-esque situation.
Flight to indoor. Okay, well that wraps this part up.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alright, folks, we've just tied up the dock, sadly meaning that our voyage today is over. But before we finish up, I want to remind you that if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at madefordisney@gmail.com. Then if you want to make sure you're staying up to date on all Made for Disney news and topics and anything like that, you can look at our Facebook page and Twitter at Made for Disney, or our Instagram at Made for Disney the podcast. So all that's left is for me to thank you, as always, for joining us today on Made for Disney, the happiest podcast to ever sail the 7 seas lagoon.
Bye.